Welcome to Before the Bounce for round 16, where we'll be previewing our crucial clash with Fremantle, one which could keep our finals hopes alive. But I want to start off by acknowledging last Thursday night's loss to Sydney. It was an unexpected one, and there are no excuses for the performance, but I want to give some reasons as to why we may have looked so flat and so lethargic. We were coming off just a 5-day break. We went to Alice Springs on the Saturday, landed at 3 a.m. that night, and then flew to Cairns, arriving just 3.5 hours before the game. All teams have had challenges this year. We've seen the best sides in the comp have flat games as well. It will happen. It isn't an excuse, and the team that can handle those challenging times the best will come out on top. We couldn't do that against Sydney, but I think it's important to just explain what we're all feeling up here in the hub and why some of these results are going to happen. Anyway, that is in the past. We have a game to win tonight against the Dockers because our season is still very much alive, and Simon Goodwin knows exactly that.
Yeah, look, obviously there's a level of frustration. There's no question about that because, the start to the game wasn't to the level that we want to play at. But, it's really been focused on Fremantle. We've got a short turnaround and our destiny's still in our hands. We need to play some really good footy and we need to play better if we want to play finals and if we want to deserve to play finals. And we believe we're good enough to do that, but we need to start showing it week in, week out and being more consistent in the way we go about it.
In terms of the ladder, we're sitting just one game outside of the 8, but with the Dogs knocking over the Eagles last night, it makes our task a little bit trickier. We're probably going to have to win 3 out of 3 from this point on. As we take a look at the ladder, Collingwood are probably safe if they can knock over Gold Coast next week. St Kilda have a couple of interesting ones with West Coast and GWS to come, but Bulldogs are the worry. They should beat Adelaide and Freo in their last 2 games. If they do that, we'll have to win all 3, including a massive mini-final against GWS next Saturday at the Gabba. We can't look too much further than tonight, but basically we have to win, keep our percentage above the Bulldogs, and maybe even try to get up near the mark of St Kilda. In terms of our side, we've made some massive changes, 7 in fact, and it is all about speed. We do bring in Prusy to replace Brownie as a tall target in the forward half, but the rest is all about the youngsters who will provide some fresh legs and a bit of excitement up the field. We know Cozzy and Hunty have some serious pace, so they'll add some spark inside 50. Toby Bedford comes in for the first time since his round 1 debut, and Oscar Baker will also play his first game of 2020. We caught up with him yesterday before training as he gears up for his 10th game of senior footy. Sauce, it's been a long wait, over 12 months since your last game. You must be just itching to get out there.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's been a while. Really excited to get out there with the boys and hopefully get a win.
You're obviously a bit older now, a bit more mature from this time last year. Do you feel like you're more ready to take that next step?
Yeah, absolutely. Not being in the team for the year is, I saw it as an opportunity to just get fitter, get stronger, and I'm feeling in the best condition I have my whole career. So, raring to go and excited to get out there and hopefully I can have an impact.
Your pace is your biggest strength. It's something the boys have probably been lacking in recent weeks. Do you feel like you got those fresh legs that you can add?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm in really good form at the moment and I'm using my speed and my ball usability, and that's definitely something I'll look to bring into the team, and hopefully we can go from there.
Have you gained some confidence out of those practice matches? Obviously they're very different to VFL footy, but have you got that belief back in you?
Yeah, definitely, mate. I saw it as a kind of opportunity to get fitter throughout the COVID period, and I've worked really hard to build my endurance, and I feel like that's come out in my game the last few weeks, and I've been able to put a block of form together that's given me this opportunity, and as I said, just looking forward to getting out there and hopefully I can put my strengths on show.
And is that spot on the wing one you're looking to fulfil?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely the position I want to lock down and have an impact right there with Langers, and hopefully going forward we can build a bit of chemistry and it'll be good.
And we're about to go have a run on Kazali Stadium. Do you feel like it's important to get used to these conditions? Obviously the boys just got off the plane on Thursday night. Yeah,
it definitely is. Obviously the wind's a big factor, and we've had a few days to, I guess, put behind the game from the other night and look towards Fremantle, and the boys are raring to go and put a better performance out there, and I'm sure we will.
It's always exciting to see some fresh faces in the team, so hopefully Baker and Bedford go well tonight. But I want to talk about our superstars. According to Champion Data, we have 3 players in the top 10. Gawn at number 1, Oliver at 3, and Petrarca at 9. It's a star-studded midfield, but we're 15th in the competition for clearances, so we're not really getting enough momentum from that area of the ground. And while we need 22 contributors, these are the guys that need to get the job done, like we've seen from the likes of Marcus Bontempelli and Patrick Dangerfield in recent weeks. It's also Christian Petrarca's 100th game. He's having a massive year, so hopefully he can get his hands on the footy around the midfield and really hurt Fremantle tonight. They'll enter the game unchanged after their 27-point loss to Richmond last week, but they were really quite competitive, keeping them to just 4 goals in the first 3 quarters. And they're a similar side to Sydney, so we've had a bit of a dress rehearsal. They're really strong defensively, but struggle a little bit on the attack. Some of these numbers aren't great and are the reason why they've only won the 5 games. They're 17th for inside 50s and 18th for percentage of scores per inside 50. So when they actually do get in there, they're still struggling to convert that onto the scoreboard. That may have a bit to do with the way they put all their energy into their defence. They're actually 4th in the comp for points against, behind Port Adelaide, Geelong and Collingwood, so 3 of the better sides. It's an impressive effort and they've only conceded over 8 goals once since round 7, so kicking a winning score against them is quite tough, and after struggling to deal with the massive numbers Sydney had in our 50 last week, we're really going to need to improve on that tonight. The way they defend isn't always pretty, but they do make it hard to attack, and they also have some dangerous intercept players like your Luke Ryans coming out of defence. He's one to watch, and I've got a couple of other things for you to look out for in tonight's game as well. The first being our tackling. We're ranked 18th in the competition for tackles laid. It's not a good stat, averaging just 44 a game. The best teams in the comp are up around the 57 mark, so we really need to improve on that tonight. Keep your eye on the stat sheet. Hopefully we're more than 11 a quarter. But the tackle efficiency is something I want to look at as well. In the past couple of weeks, we haven't been laying really strong tackles and we're letting the opposition get away with their kicks, getting away with their handballs and setting up their goals. So that's a really important aspect of the game for us to get right tonight. The second thing is the conditions at Cairns Stadium. As we saw the other night, it was really quite windy, and of course, it's windy here again today. So we have to use these conditions to our advantage and learn from our mistakes against the Swans. While kicking with the breeze in the first term, we took too long to adjust. We kept kicking it long to this pocket and made it really easy for Sydney to defend. Later in the game, I feel like we learnt and tried to switch the ball because we're going to have to enter from that far side of the ground. We also have to be careful coming out of defence because the ball got sucked out on the full a couple of times throughout the night. There's also a little bit of rain around, so if that comes, we're going to have to adapt quickly because we've struggled with different conditions throughout the season so far. And just lastly, I want you to look out for some coaching moves that we do. Last week, I thought we were quite proactive. Of course, things weren't going well, but in the second half, Fritsch moved up to the wing, Tomlinson went down back, Oscar McDonald went forward for a defensive role, and May even went forward late in the last quarter. Hopefully it doesn't get to that and everything goes well, but even little defensive moves like Smith on Papley last week, I thought he did a really good job. Look out for some of those. Anyway, that's all from before the bounce. Hopefully some of that comes to life at Cairns Stadium a little later tonight.